But the ants are just too diligent. Sometimes they toil for no good reason, because this is something that has been imbued in their nature, and they just want to work and work and work, and they just work and work and work. But there was another creature. This one is called the Alcon Blue. Alcon Blue took the advice of King Solomon. This is a butterfly. It literally observes how the ant works and says, look at these workaholic Oompa Loompas of the wild. I want to learn how to use them so that I don't have to work at all. And what they do is, like, they trick the ants to do babysitting for them. So they produce caterpillars, and the caterpillars which come from these creatures, they have scents like those of ants' larvae. And the ants confuse them for their own larvae. And they literally pick them out from the wild and drive them all the way to their mounds and take care of them for 23 good months. Yeah, it doesn't end there. When they're in the mounds, those caterpillars, they learn to learn how to get more food from the ants. So they observe, and then they realize they are these queens, they make these certain sounds, they get more food, then they learn from them. They emit those sounds. And the ants will feed them more than their own larvae. So if the food was in short supply, they'll abandon their own larvae and feed them. These are two examples. So between these two, who is more diligent? The ants or the falcon blue? Falcon blue, I think. Because diligence is elusive. These falcon blue have learned to utilize naturally occurring systems of advantage. And these systems of advantage are all around us. And when someone traces them, you can find someone who has only a 2-hour workday, but their results are extremely massive, because in life, there are those forces which are just beyond norm, like they are beyond our ken. And it's either we align to them or we don't. And most of the times, everything that we do, only 20% actually aligns to those forces. And because of that, there is always this wonky nature of results and effort. Because when you draw the graph between results and effort, it's never linear. It has a wonky look. And that wonkiness is what determines why certain people have more results and others don't. This comes from the field of economics. They discovered this. It's called the Pareto law. Everything we do is only 20% that makes the difference. 20% of the time we spend working account for 80% of the results. So diligence is in trying to trace that 20% in everything that we do. It involves the mind. And when you take life in that kind of approach, it will make a difference on how you approach things. You will not be caught up in doing, but in learning, trying to investigate life, approach life with a scientific mind. Even if you're not a scientist, you try to experiment with things. You find the things that have outsized results. And when you reach, I want to finish up with this. This one is called the processionary caterpillar. The processionary caterpillar is a crazy one, because these are creatures which tend to tie themselves to the one who is in front of them, and they form these long lines. But when you do a simple hack of putting the first one, attaching the first one to the last one, they will go in circles all day long. They don't question why this circle never ending, you know? And in life, most of the times we can be involved in those kind of pursuits. We find ourselves following the crowd, wherever it leads. We don't question things. Now, diligence involves breaking out of that cloud. By choosing to be independent, by choosing to make the world adopted to us and not ourselves to be adopted to the world. And by doing that, we are going to become people who will break out of this rat place, which is never ending. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Wow. Wiz Talks. Wiz Talks. And it's not over, it is going to be back to back.